So, now that we are the government, it will not escape our minds that, it is a war crime to recruit child soldiers. We will never do it. But still, it is being imposed on us that we have child soldiers. Let me assure you that we don't have them in the army. What these people are doing, I mean our rebels, they kala menu nahnu bedinka binogul menu zaman asset masak zol tala belel janinu yamshi short hole wala se tawali masak, and then people came out to rescue him. لما الناس طلع عشان يساعدوا الأسد ذاته دخل جوا، خلى الناس يطلع برا وياو دخل جوا وجاء ساعدوا دول ودوا جوا. لما ودوا جوا الأسد طبعا بيشوف بالليل جاءوا ورقد جمل زول وبدأ يموت ليك بلاد في مال الجرى بتاعه قبيل ده. الرجل ده يقول إنه الأسد ذاته معه، فبقى يقول فالناس بيقولوا يا أخي إنت شيت هلا كده راجل حتى لو عوضوه إنه شنو ده. في الآخر قال يا جماعة واحد بيشيت قلبه لما العوض ده يكون بعيد منك، لكن أجا ده قاعد معي هنا يا الناس بيقولوا جرى وخلوا له في جوا هناك. نازين قبل كل خورج لاود كمادر عنود ويكم سميتوا في أغاني بدا ليد يانكول. فده exactly this what these people are doing. هم دخل في جريمة وشالونا دخلونا في محل بدولنا عشان يهو مجرمين. And that is not, what we should really abide with. Now, the issue of the stakeholders. How many political parties do we have? All these political parties have to be represented as the first step. After law, much of a wide zone, they are all representative. But it is you, the parties, the other stakeholders, have to sit down in your own meetings to select your own representatives. Most الناس اللي بأجندة بتاعهم براك ويمشي لأديس أبابا يقول نحن representing such an organization. لا. This is what should be done. لما قالوا إنه لما قالوا أستاذ وكيل are representing other political parties on our side, قلنا لا كلام ده كده. These are the government delegation. Will manage representation with the political parties, they will bring their own representatives. And be able to represent the parties. SPLM Zato will not be represented by the people who are now on the delegation. There will be other people who will go as SPLM members to represent them. The same thing to the civil societies organizations. The same thing to the women. The same thing to youth and all other professionals. Del kalam nahnu naqul fi lafut kida lakad yawm 4 shahr 6 li 70. You can still make many things now. في ناس ماشوا بأجندة هناك وقالوا إنه we want federal system to be applied in South Sudan. And this is what the rebels are now clinging on. That they themselves, they are fighting for federalism. You remember when you held your conference in Nyakure, where he was the vice president. I sent him to go and close the conference because I was engaged in other things. And from the resolutions that were there, federalism was one of the resolutions. And Riek took it and Galekum Minu, I ana bagi makum fi kalam da yana there federation zato. Is that the reason that you think it is Riek who is the advocate of federation? What did our people demand? 1947. It was federation that they demanded. 1955, federation. 1965, federation. Where was Riek and all those who are with him there? Munu fi Junuba Sudan in a beautiful federal system. When we came in, the agreement took us barra min al-kalam al-kuna min nafakkar fogo, because Mu'tamar al-Watani, very quickly when they saw that war was now intensifying and was going further than what they might have expected, divided Sudan into 25 states, and they called them federal states. Did people vote for it? ما في زول. وقال ده 5 ولايات 25 ولاية. نحن جينا, we took 10 out of the 25. We did not reject them that they are in federal system. Although we are talking now about decentralization, the difference is very slight, very narrow. If you separate, you want to differentiate federalism from decentralization, ما هيكون في فرق كبير. And did we ever talk about this thing and then it was rejected by the government? The system is always brought by the people. When people sit down and propose, you suggest that even now the constitution is being amended. Why is it being amended? To suit the people. عشان يجيبوا الحاجة الناس بيقبلوا. So if we say that the decentralized system that we are now in has to be replaced by federalism, I don't think that any state in South Sudan will come out and say no to federalism. It will not happen. Why don't we wait for that time to come when we consult among ourselves? Why is it now to be put into confusion that I don't know there is war and so we want to get advantage of this war to get away with what we thought it was ours. It is ours, all of us. What we don't have is the title calling South Sudan as a federal democratic, a federal republic, something like that. This is what we don't have, the word federal. But the federation. Each state guide assembly bitaw, ma constitution bitaw, ma hakuma bitaw, then what will you do when you become a federal state? Huh? These are all things that you will maintain with very slight changes that you will have to go and add in there. Let us not be divided because of this. And this is what these people will come and learn on Equatorians. That nano yawde Jaibin Federation leko. Jaibin Federation leko. IG Federation no. Will they throw away corruption? Ma haiji be kula hajalu kaljara mamda haiji be kulu. This is what I just wanted to remind you about. Let us not be deceived. Fil hajat. And then Nasser Addis Ababa on different missions should always stick to their missions. Of course, we have no restricted movement of people. And people are still saying, there is no freedom in South Sudan. What will it happen? What will happen later on? Gulna mafi zole tarak men belede. Ila kan tashurut. Uloman tashurut, you will not be again a loyal citizen to the country. You will be charged of any charges. Did we do that? Kulizol, you are free, go wherever you want to go and come back. Nas bisheta makuma fil FM radios here in Juba, fi Jerai, fi Shunu. Did we slaughter them? Made our democracy. If that is a democracy, like in democracy, but I have Juba Sudan, food to democracy with another time, it's that was gone bad out over. We not put up Bamshi by the personalities. Democracy, ma itama do khui fi shakhsiyat bita nas. Lekin kalam lahi de shitan. In any case, نحن نقف مع وراء teams بتاعنا بتاع negotiation, and we encourage them عشان يعمل الكلام اللي قالوا لهم. أما الكلام بتاع UNMIS, which is now another problem, the UN. Yes, the UN. Ama kalam bata UNMIS, which is now another problem, the UN. Yes, the UN, yauna salendum gurush. They are refusing a chanedi le IGAD force gurush lanu IGAD force would not be under their command. If IGAD force is now given to them, that it will be under your command, Uman Vijib Guruj Bukra. Lekin IGAD Madar al Kalabda. You and there the UNMIS be given additional mandate. Chanu kutul guada warau. Upada genu yokun fil kalamda. Ana butu kalamda brief da fi BBC. When I was asked about the force, the UN force that will come to increase the UNMIS. Ana budulom UNMIS aletu na hinada. What were they brought for? Which for protection with the civil population? How can they protect the civil population when they cannot protect themselves? even if you increase them, what will be their mandate? And for how long really are they going to stay in South Sudan? Madani Kalamata Congo.
Sudan is rich in natural resources, including oil, mineral, and timber. The most important resources is oil, from which 98% of the government revenue is derived. The country covers an area of 650,000 kilometers square, although 50% of the land is arable for prime food and cash crop agriculture. Only 4% is under significant cultivation, and only 3% of that land is irrigated. Prolonged conflicts and lack of infrastructure and high transportation costs are attributed to have prevented the people of South Sudan from practicing commercially viable agriculture. Therefore, the government of South Sudan has been encouraging the people of South Sudan to practice agriculture to diversify the economy and reduce food insecurity. Although South Sudan is undergoing a political turmoil as a result of failed attempted coup of December 15, 2013, the nation is embarking on its normal activities in the country. It is a new agriculture season and all roads are leading to farms in the country. While the country is importing most of its foods, the government says this tendency should end, given the emerging agriculture potential South Sudan has. The government is calling on the people of South Sudan to now treat agriculture as a business. The President of the Republic of South Sudan has called on the people of South Sudan to engage on farming and call on the partners that are involved in agriculture to support the local farmers in the country.
That our people have the will and determination to prosper. I therefore call upon all of you South Sudanese to go to your farms and exert all efforts to produce food for your families and our country. I also call upon all our partners, relevant agricultural institutions such as banks and unions, to provide necessary support to initiatives that are intended to produce food during this season.
Earlier on, the country food security and 2014 agriculture season has been formally launched in Juba. The event was inaugurated by the President of the Republic of South Sudan and the chairperson of the Food and Security Council, General Salva Kiir Mayardit. The Council, whose mandate is to ensure the overall alignment and harmonization of food security initiatives of various government institutions. The head of the state added that the government considers food security a strategic objective, announcing that he will purchase 1,000 tractors to be distributed to farmers in a bid to hasten the country's ability to feed itself.
South Sudan has a huge natural resources potential. Increased agricultural production represents the best opportunity not only to address food and nutrition security, but also to produce surpluses for related industries and export to regional markets. In the process, might needed jobs will be created, leading to improved incomes, the wider economy, and quality of life for the people of South Sudan. Finally, I pray to God to bless South Sudan this year with sufficient rains in order for us to enhance our efforts in producing food for our families and our country.
Meanwhile, Agriculture Minister Badi Machar say farmers are faced with many challenges, including lack of access to loans and poor road network to transport their produce to the markets.
In South Sudan, our farmers are our factories, the engine for growth. Our youth must be excited about agriculture. This young generation should see agriculture as one of the first paths to prosperity. Our new mindset should be integrated approach to transform agriculture, working to empower our farmers, traders, investors to be our agents of change.
In line with the government of South Sudan policy to food security, we decided to travel to Mogalipayam, east of Nimule, to see a farmer called Kisere to find how they are managing with their farm activities. Kisere, who owns 100 acres of cassava plant, is yet another story of a successful farmer in South Sudan. He started from a humble beginning as a farmer at the border in Nimule, Mogalipayam, but is now the only case in the country. Last year alone, he produces 16 tons of sorghum ready for the market. Kisere called on the government to support farmers in order to uphold the government policy for food security. He called on the Ministry of Agriculture to work with the local farmers so that their produce reach the market.
Let me use our effort to cultivate, even the government to give us support. Because now we are here, the tractors there in Juba is now rotten there. There's no use. That's why I say that I went to my ambassador, John Andoga. I said, John Andoga, I'm a farmer. Let me go and see my place. Then bring the SSTV. Let them come and see the place. That's why that to encourage our Sudanese to do the work just as I'm doing. Because even now we say that like this, we cannot help each other. That's why I say that I go to the ambassador to bring people, because I failed just to get the way I can just call you. Okay. Yeah. A year maybe I can get 500 acres a yearly. I can do it. Because I have only one tractor. Sometimes the mechanical problem, I cannot get a spare. Then you should just rush in the Uganda, get the spare, then you come and fix. That's the problem that I'm facing. If government will bring the tools near here, can help us. That's why I said, let me just not sit in one place. We have plenty of land. We are South Sudan, we have plenty of land. We fought for, we want just to get freedom. This is the freedom. You are doing your things, no difficulties. You feel free. Now, like now, just I'm doing here. Can supply all the, maybe Juba, Torit. See, that's why I said, you people come and see, and then just to other people also this year, because we are hearing to the radio, over the radio, government say now we want to chase the hunger in our country. This is the way that we hear to the president. That's why I hear the ambassador there. I rushed to him yesterday. Then unfortunately also he called people that you respond. Now I am feeling happy. Today I will sleep well. Yeah.
While Ambassador John Andrew appealed to the government of South Sudan to support farmers by purchasing their produce in the country. He said the story of Kisering and farmers in Nimule can be a case of many farmers in South Sudan. Ambassador John says support extension to farmers is in line with the President of the Republic of South Sudan call for food security in the country.
We came here to Nimule. We want to say that Nimule is not only a place for border crossing, trade. Nimule also is a place where people are doing serious farming. We came to see one local farmer who is doing his own farming on self-reliance basis. This is an indicator of how serious our people are. It requires just a push from our government to accelerate and implement this excellent policy of His Excellency the President Salva Kiir to keep our country food secure. This is an example of it. We now cross the river. We're going to see the farm where this local farmer has attempted to liberate the Republic of South Sudan from hunger.
Yeah, when we see a lot of conversation, when people talk about South Sudan, they talk about the current political turmoil in the country. And when we are seeing this good initiative of this initiative that we are going to see, you are becoming a good ambassador advocating for the good cause of these people.
You see, we don't just say farmer. This gentleman is called Kiir. Kiir is a local businessman here in Nimule, and he is also not only committed member of SPLM, but he is also committed for the policy of the SPLM. And this is an initiative to produce food. We go and see for ourselves what he has done. Then after that, we'll talk more when we see his effort in the line of addressing the President appeal for food security for 2014.
That we can see from the local farmer here is in line with the government policy of food security. If we are to talk to the government and to talk to the people of South Sudan in terms of seeing farmers like this have access to this produce, get to the market and get to the people of South Sudan.
First of all, Kizito, I'm very grateful to be here. This is the Republic of South Sudan. This is a clear illustration by action that this... I wanted to thank SSTV for responding to appeal of a citizen who is in distress. Kiir is a citizen who is committed to fight hunger and address the government call for food security. Now, when he came to me yesterday in the village, he told me that, Ambassador, I heard that the President have declared the year 2014 is the year for food secure for South Sudan. But I have so much and I don't get support from the government. I try to approach the Minister of Agriculture to support me with the tools. Every time I write, nobody takes me seriously. How do I get my message across? I told you that, my brother, I'm here to represent the President and the people of South Sudan as ambassador. Translation of domestic policy. So here, our President have declared we want to secure food. Now, that's why I call you people to come to see us, because if we wrote a report that there is a farmer in Mugali who has 100 acres of cassava, people think that is a lie. You are just creating stories. But seeing is the believing. This is, for those who don't know what is cassava, cassava can be consumed, at least somebody who grow in this area, who is a local person. I know cassava can be done, human being can consume it in 3 ways. Fresh as it is planted like this, you can eat it. It's okay. Or you can boil it, you can eat. Dry it, and then ground it, make it as a posho. This is another way to use the cassava. Now, what we need is our government at the state level, at the national level, to support the initiative of President Salva Kiir, to secure our country from depending from our neighboring country. We are not having any problem with our neighboring country, but we wanted to cut down the cost of food in South Sudan. We can only cut the cost when we are producing locally, so that we don't lose money in exchange rate. You heard from the farmer himself. When they want to go to Uganda, our currency, South Sudan pound, is devalued because the people are desperate. And the exchange rate they're having is the black market exchange rate. So it becomes costly to buy food in Uganda. And then when they reach the market, the local population cannot buy it. But here is cassava here. This cassava trees which we have here, they are in millions here. We are appealing to our government. Instead of sending people to buy these seeds from Uganda, which will be packed on the sack, by the time it arrives Juba, some already have been dry already. And when you take it to Warab, you take it to Rumbek, you take it to different places, it's already dry. Why don't we take it fresh from here in South Sudan and take it to different part of South Sudan? unless some people want to just to inflate the cost of these seats for purpose of corruption, there's a seat available in South Sudan. And this is a clear illustration here, Kizito. Number two, I want to say this. We must be practical this time. People of South Sudan, let us be practical. Let us put the theory aside. We want our Minister of Agriculture at the national level to visit this place to see for himself. We want our Minister of Agriculture at the state level to come here. We want to ask our politicians to make their heart dirty as I'm doing now. Because I cannot die eating this cassava. Like I demonstrated, you can eat it fresh. And it's not bitter. Also, you can use the leaf. You can pound the leaf and cook it. So cassava can be used in different ways. This farmer, Kisire, is not only producing cassava. He also have sorghum. We are going to see the sorghum later, whereby last year he harvested 16 ton of sorghum, which can be used for seed to distribute all over South Sudan. But up to now, he also appealed to government, to the Minister of Agriculture, to FAO, to WFP, to come and buy this thing so they can be taken somewhere else. Nobody's serious about taking him seriously because they want to buy from Uganda. And in Uganda, the cost is high because it includes transport very far. Once again, we have to support our government. We are aware South Sudan is going through serious security threats, but we must produce food so that the cost of the import of food is cut down. And then we use the money to educate our people. We use the money to put bridges in a river, like this small stream where we cross, so that this farmer, people can come with their truck, load it from his garden here, and then take it away. Then you can use them. You can see this is a clear thing we are talking about, Kizito. We don't want to waste time talking too much. This is a clear example of we try to demonstrate. As a citizen, I thought in a small way to support the initiative of President Salva Kiir. And this is why we are demonstrating it.
The Secretary General of South Sudan Chamber of Commerce, Agriculture and Industry, Simon Akwe Deng, said there is need for access to finance to farmers in order to support them to practice commercial farming. Akwe said land issues still remain a major challenges facing farmers in the country.
When you go around to the states, you will find a lot of challenges that the farmers are facing, including myself. One of them is the aftercare. This issue of extension officers that we talked about is a very important phenomenon. We need extension officers to be able to advise farmers on what kind of weather, soil, and even the crop itself. There is a need to look at what type of crop that we need to put in a certain environment. That is one. And these extension officers will also advise on the right technologies. And at the same time, since agriculture is a science, they will also bring what they call technology transfer that they have learned from other countries, and they will train farmers on their farms, not in towns, but right in the farms. And after doing that, you will find that improvement at that sector will be achieved. That is one of the big challenges that farmers are facing around right now. And then let's go back to what they call access to finance. Access to finance is a major issue in South Sudan right now. There are local banks, commercial banks, there are financial institutions, but they are not giving loans to farmers because of the risks involved in farming. Now, what we suggest, or according to the provisions of the CPA, land belongs to the community. I tend to believe that phrase was meant to protect the land of South Sudan. When we are a nation like this, there is a need to restructure the land policy and the land law, such that investors, either local or international, has easy time to be able to access land for agriculture. If we have all this land and we cannot utilize it, what is the meaning of it? It cannot be used for decoration. We just have to cultivate on it so that it feeds us and create jobs, opportunities for our youth. Therefore, I will suggest that let us demarcate and adjudicate the whole land of South Sudan. And by doing that, there will be areas designated for agricultural investment only. And when an investor comes from wherever he's coming from in the whole world, he will have a place to lease. It is through lease system. It is the only way we can develop this country. But when we say, when an investor comes, which is very discouraging, and this is the norm right now, they come to the national government, Minister of Agriculture, they send them to the states. Let's say they have sent them to Central Equatoria state. Central Equatoria will have no powers. They will send them to the county. County has no powers. They will send them to the Payam. The Payam will say land belongs to the community. They will send it to the Buma. The Buma official will say, okay, it is very good you have come. Let us go to the chief. The chief will say, let us go to the local chief. That one is discouraging for investment. There is a need to demarcate land, a land that the Ministry of Agriculture, the National Ministry of Agriculture, can direct investors on agriculture, and they go and do the lease. There will be a structured lease for the land, which protects everybody, protect the right of the community, protect everybody in South Sudan, so that food is produced.
In addition, the government has been urging farmers to form associations which the government can support to acquire modern equipment, such as tractors. Most farmers in South Sudan use simple tools, including a handmade horse, which is normally for labor-intensive work, but also insufficient. Even though the present status of agriculture looks precarious, the government of South Sudan hopes that increased extension services and adoption of modern technology and support from donors and international organizations will lead to a permanent solution to food security in the country.